Okay, YouTube, we are ready and we are going to do the leaf casting now of the cover. Before I begin, I want to let you know that I did modify the pulp from last upload. Here is the difference. I did tint it a little bit darker. I was a little unhappy with the color of the actual pulp that we created last time, so I tinted it with tea. And what I did is I just brew a tea and I poured portions of the tea into the pulp, and I also used a few pieces of darker paper, or my tan paper mix. Okay, so what we're going to do is we want to set up the cover as it's going to look after we leaf cast it. Now you may be asking how I figure out how large the cover is. When I do this, I'll tell you how I do it. Here is a piece of foam craft, or craft foam, and what I did was I reversed the actual interior, because now it's flat, and I measured the exact dimensions of the interior laid flat, and this is how I obtained the dimensions of how big the cover should be. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the craft foam below the Rimet paper, and then I'm going to take the Rimet paper on top just like this, and we are going to adjust it. We're going to adjust it until we get it right. And the next issue is, well, how am I going to keep it in place? I'll show you. We're going to put a light underneath just to give me where the craft foam is, so I have a better view of adjusting the cover. So I don't know if the light's picking up, but for me, I can see it. It's a light underneath, and there you go. There is where the one side of the cover should be, and then here is the other side of the cover. So that's it right there, guys. This is, to the best that I can do it, it's not an exact science where the cover should stay. But what I want to do is I actually want to raise both of these up so we're in the middle of the Rimet paper. So when I do pulp here, I have a little bit more room to put the pulp. So this is the area where the cover should stay, where it should be before I leaf cast it. And it's hard sometimes because it does shift and there's nothing you can really do about it. So what I'm gonna do here now is just, we're gonna try to level up the bottom as best as possible. And again, it's not an exact science. So there you go. That is hopefully the position that the cover should be when we do this. Now we have to add that top piece of the Superman. So what I want to do, guys, is let me stop the camera, because I am going to bring in the leaf casting table, and I need to wet this down, and you'll see why. So stay tuned. I'm getting the leaf casting table. Okay, guys, I have my leaf casting table set up. So what I want to do is I want to put the grate in with the cover, trying not to disturb it in any way, shape, or form. The next thing that I want to do is I want to put a second piece of Rimet paper on top to put it in position. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna wet the cover with the Rimet paper on top. And by doing this, the cover will hopefully stick on the Rimet paper, and I'll have a nice bond, and it won't move. I don't know what's going on with my sprayer. Okay, that's better. So here we go. We're gonna wet the cover. And by wetting the cover, like I said, it will stick or bond to the Rimet paper. And I actually did not take my craft foam off, which is no big deal because I just did it. Okay, so there you go. The cover still looks like it's in good shape. Let's wet it a little bit more. There we go. Let's give it a brushing so I can flatten it out. Now, if you recall, we do have the piece of the cover that was very important to me that I wanted to try to put on, the actual Superman piece. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it out of the envelope and we'll just drop it down. It should be in here. There it is. Okay. I just dropped it down and it did fall right here. Now people may think I'm a little crazy, and what happened just now is, I don't know if you picked up, it disintegrated to a degree, which is not good. So, because this is not a full piece of Superman. What it is, it's actually a piece of bitten or chewed paper from the bugs. So it's one of those half pieces of paper that is not full. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this Rimet off. Okay. And I am going to try to position this piece of Superman in place so I can leaf cast it. And I'll tell you right now, it's not gonna work because it's just the veneer of the actual Superman, meaning the veneer, it's the front piece of the paper because the paper was split in two pieces. So we tried, and it's just not a solid piece of paper that we can do what I wanted to do. So you try some and you win some and then you lose some. So we got this positioned nicely, okay, which I'm happy with. Now, what I want to do is I want to set it up where I can flip it around, because we're going to do our leaf casting from the opposite end. So I'm going to flip it around just like that. And we're going to focus on these areas that we have to leaf cast. Let's water the back, make it wet. There we go, nice. And next, what I want to do is I want to get it set up where we're going to put the leaf casting suction on. And I'm going to take off my piece of Rimet paper. And I know I say this a lot, but if you want to do this, you need the Rimet paper. Without the Rimet paper, you're wasting your time working on the paper, working on any form of paper. We'll give it one more wet, one more application, that's good. And then let me mix up my pulp, and then we're gonna get going. Okay, the pulp is mixed. Let me get it poured into my squeeze bottle. And we're gonna get going with this, guys. And hopefully it turns out well. I think it will. I think I like the way I adjusted the pulp. I filled up my squeeze bottle about 3/4 of the way. And let's do it. This does feel wet enough. I am happy with the wetness of it, but I just want to give it a little more liquid because you see how the color is changing, and I want it to be consistent with the water. And I'm going to put it on and suck some water through. Okay guys, so we did that. Water was sucked through. I do see a little fuzzy that I took off. It does happen. So what do we want to do? What I want to do is I want to put my dividers or my pieces of paper surrounding, and what this does is it creates a better suction. And I can adjust the suction by moving these and letting the vacuum open and close. So there we go. What I want to do now is I want to put my pieces of plastic to try to cover as much graphics as I can. It's going to be a little tough with this one, and I'm going to have to cover or to go over some of the graphics because it's just the nature of the paper. So let's start with the spine, okay guys? I'm going to put it on and let's get rolling. Okay guys, I'm gonna do something a little different. Now I did say that I was gonna use the Tengojo paper. So this is the Tengojo paper. I'm taking it off of my spool right now, off camera. So give me a second and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me take a piece. There we go. And we're gonna do something a little different because this paper is very weak. And by it being weak, what that means is, we all know what weak means. So I have a piece of Tengojo paper here. Right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut a straight strip of Tengojo paper, and I'll show you what is going to be done with it. Bear with me, I'm on my glass on the side, so I'm off camera, and I'll show you exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, so here is the Tengojo paper. We are going to reinforce the leaf casting that I did by placing the Tengojo paper right on the leaf casting. Now what this is going to do, it's going to reinforce the repair. So I'm going to put it back on and I'm going to reapply leaf casting. So watch. So what I basically did just now is that I am reinforcing the repair with the leaf casting. I just want to do one more pass, so I'm going to put it on. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the plastic off and we're going to focus on the other areas in question. And by doing this, I feel I am going to give a better conserved condition where we are able to read the book, and I think the spine will move better. We'll be able to bend better, we'll be able to flex better. So I'm happy with the results right there. In addition, what I want to do now is we're going to leaf cast this whole area, and I'm definitely going to get it on the graphics. There's nothing that I can do to change that. We're just going to have to accept it. And that is the way of this conservation project. And I think I will reinforce this with Tengojo paper too. But let's first lay it, so cover your ears. Okay guys, I hope that picked up. I reinforced this whole top with Tengojo paper. And in my opinion, that is classic conservation. I am reinforcing the paper pulp. Whether CGC will consider that as adding, I don't think they will. And I'm going to put Tengojo paper going up and down here as well. Okay guys, I hope you're enjoying this with the addition of Tengojo paper. Hope I'm saying that right. Maybe Samurai Ken will tell me. I know he told me in the past I was saying it right. We're going to put a piece of Tengojo paper on this repair as well. And I really think this is the way to go by putting this on in addition to the leaf casting, because you're going to have a stronger repair in my opinion. And I do believe these are all things that CGC allows as repairs based on their criteria. But you know I've been wrong in the past with CGC, and by putting this on just like this, we'll go right to the end where the rip is. We'll flatten it out nice, and then when it dries, I can remove the Tengojo paper that is not actually held down. So let's put this on. Okay, guys, I think that we did a pretty good job, and I hope the camera is picking it up. So I want to remove these guys here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of Rimet over, and then we're going to let the suction pull everything down, and I blot. So I'm going to do this off camera, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you liked my new technique, and stay tuned.